sec. What is going on, people? Okay, so that did not work exactly as I thought. So it was a hot mic when you were supposed to be hearing music, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to do it live, as they say. Hey, I got this brand new setup for YouTube specifically. Really looking forward to it. If you want your name in lights, people, there are several ways that you can do it, and you're just going to have to figure it out. Shout out to the Brew Monks who are on Twitch specifically. Twitch.tv/ I think it's either the Brew Monks or twitch.tv/ Brew Monks, but I think it's twitch.tv/ the Brew Monks. And they helped me set all of this layout. Let me know what you guys think. And of course, again, all kinds of fun stuff is going to go along with this. Always updating it, everything of that nature. But with that out of the way, let's see how you guys are doing. Always check me out at Twitter, twitter.com/The Lore Reloaded. And let's say hi to a couple people. We got Admiral Alexander in here. Red Snowpaw, which always reminds me of Red Snoopy for some reason. Of course, Captain George. Never a party without Captain George. You say it's low. I can turn it up a little bit. Is it low? Let me listen. You guys are doing. Sounds fine to me. You want me to turn it up a little bit, though? Let's see. I can speak up a little bit as well, but it doesn't sound low to me. Let me know. Anyone else? Let me know if it's low to you guys, but sounds good to me. And I'll probably need the Brew Monks to tell me how to turn it up, but everything looks good right here. Hey, what's your thoughts on the idea of a Dune movie? I have not at any point actually seen Dune or gotten into the lore of Dune. So my thoughts on a Dune movie are, let's have a Dune movie. Let the people have Dune movies. What's up, buddy? Jordan Sullivan, what's going on with you, pal? How you doing? How you doing? All right, so let's just get into it. We're going to be talking about Starship Troopers. This was actually inspired by another YouTuber that I was watching, and I had him pulled up, but of course that is gone now. Let me just go ahead and pull him back up real quick. By the name of Decker Shadow, who is a YouTuber I've always liked. And he did a recent review of Starship Troopers Traitor of Mars, which looks actually good. I'll probably end up buying it just based on what he said. So I figured, we haven't talked about Starship Troopers. It is sci-fi. We can break that down. Also, we can talk about, what everybody likes talking about, which is to say, sex and space, because who doesn't enjoy that? Now that I realize that I chose that topic, my 8-year-old is sitting over there. Say hi.
Hi, and what are we talking about?
We're not talking about anything. You keep watching that. You keep playing that computer. All right, people. So let's break it down. Let's discuss it. Emperor Palpatine. Haha. Good. In theory, Emperor Palpatine. That was supposed to pop up. It didn't. Things should be updating. What's up with that? Hey, the Brew Monks, if you could check that out, because he should have updated now. But as all of you know, the way I make my bread, the way I support my family is through Super Chats and people like you. Oh, there it is. It just has an insane delay. But yeah, thank you so much, Emperor Palpatine. Always helpful. You are now the Super Chat hero of the lore for the moment. Thank you so much. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and break it down. So Starship Troopers, I think, is an interesting dichotomy because it takes really what is dystopia, but makes it fun. Because when you look at Starship Troopers, I know there was a discussion on whether it's fascist or not. I do think it's an authoritarian government for sure, one that is highly oppressive, but it makes it seem upbeat. It makes it seem worth it. It makes it seem good, and that's kind of an interesting discussion to me because anytime we see it in Star Trek, anytime we see it in The Expanse even, or anytime what's another one? It was on the top of my head, but I forget. But The Expanse in Star Trek, we take a look at it. Authoritarian governments, it's not really proactive, not really upbeat, if you will. Ryan D up in the house, subscribing. Thank you so much. Always appreciate it. See, guys, there's all kinds of fun stuff happening. So, my question to you though is, when we take a look specifically at the mythos and the culture of uh, Starship Troopers, is it something that's worth it? Because there are some advantages to this world. There are some advantages to Starship Troopers, in my opinion, especially when you look at how their military is done, when you look at how they address um, uh, instability. But of course, all of those comes at a cost, and you can see the subtext of it, quite frankly. But what are your guys' thoughts? What are you guys' thoughts on Starship Troopers and the government itself? I'd be very, very interested. Red Snopa, highly oppressive when you can vote. First off, I don't necessarily think you can vote. I think you have to be a citizen in order to vote, and to become a citizen, you have to work in the military. Also, the ability to vote doesn't necessarily mean that you're not in an oppressive regime. People in Russia and China can vote for all the good that does them. When you can, well, we already talked about that, where even the state-ran media willingly broadcasts opinions that conflict with the government. I don't necessarily know that they do in that movie, and if they did, certainly they looked like idiots. I really didn't respect the commentators on it, honestly. And they even went at each other. It was almost like Hunger Games in that respect when you think about it. Just the level of theater that it is, I think would be a good word for it. Captain George, it's not a tale the Jedi would tell us, Emperor Palpatine, talking about the anti-trekker, something having to do with him. How are the bugs ever a threat to humans? They've no space travel, and any asteroids the plasma hit out, or send out, would take millions of years to get to Earth and advanced knowledge of space navigation. But they are able to do it, Paths Unwritten. They quite clearly do it when they're going through there. They attack and hit and destroy, Buenos Aires? So it's not like they're not a threat. And we don't see it in the movie, but it makes me really believe that this has probably been going on for a while. And I don't think we can even be sure what the humans did or who actually started it. But we can be sure that human aggression is probably why the bugs are reacting to it, I think. I mean, from what we see. Emperor Palpatine, the government is not oppressive enough. It needs more oppression. More oppression, says Emperor Palpatine. Completely agree. So, I mean, I guess it comes down to your thoughts on how the government should work. And again, Red Snow PM, I'd be curious on your opinion on this, because the ability to vote doesn't mean you're not an oppressive government. The ability to vote simply means that you can put your name on a ballot. Doesn't mean that ballot means anything, or it doesn't mean that it's not fixed. And I would say many, many countries right now, the citizenry have the ability to vote, but it may not be as effective or as important as it appears. At Lore Reloaded, yeah, they did it, but the asteroid would have needed to be sent millions of years ago. I don't know how the space travel on it worked. I never honestly looked into that. I guess when you look at the map, because they did show the map, it is on two different sides. So, and it's really far away. Huh. But then that would have been a preemptive strike, right? I mean, they would have, at that point, proven that they wanted a war and they wanted to kill people if it was millions of years ago. Anyway, the news anchor said, some say the bugs are simply defending themselves from an encroaching human presence, that the live and let live policy would be best. Then Rico says, kill them all. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't present those as good people or anything. Give me a second. Hey. No, sir. Hey. No. It doesn't present it as a positive or a good thing, right? It even presents it as a negative thing. And then when you look at the future movies, especially Traders of Mars, which again, I haven't seen the movie, but I have seen the review of it by Decker Shadow. The government is really, really oppressive, really into making sure the citizenry is blamed. Park Maxwell. All right, everybody. Everybody relax. Okay, everybody just relax. Park Maxwell is here. Yep, and Pumpkin is here. I'm going to turn on... Let me know if the background noise of my fan is too much. I'm on air, baby. Got my daughter here today. She's hanging out. Well, I got her here every day, but she actually is on summer break, which is pretty cool because I get to hang with my daughter. I'm actually excited about that. I always enjoy that. It's always fun. They fight the war the way wars need to be fought, with the media strictly controlled. I mean, really, they're heroes when you look at it like that, honestly. They really are. But yeah, as I was saying, the editor has arrived. I'm going to have a new shirt with him coming out soon, which is Support the Editor, or something like that. The government in Halo is very authoritarian, also known as ONI. Well, ONI is actually the intelligence part of the government, of the military. But the government is extremely authoritarian. So why does sci-fi generally always have authoritarian governments? Have you guys ever noticed that? Almost always, you have authoritarian governments, even for the good guys. I mean, if you can call the UN the good guys, I'm not even convinced. But even Mars, I think, is somewhat authoritarian. And, you know, you can be authoritarian and still have a democracy. People get really, really confused by that. The democracy can either be a sham, or the way the control is, it cannot have as much power. So, but yeah. Oprah Winfrey does not like bad governments. That's good. I'm glad you're with that. Declan Collins, what is going on, good sir? Always good to have you here. You can hear the fan, but it's not distracting. Yeah, let me know if it gets too bad. I can turn it off if I need to. Just gets a little warm up in here, a little toasty. So, let's discuss the war then, because I'm intrigued by that. I'm really intrigued by that. Clinton Kavanaugh, I've been constantly noticing the fan for years, which is intriguing since I've only done this for about 6 or 7 months, and I never have the fan on when I record, but that's crazy that you've heard it. But let's talk about the war. So, from what we see, and again, we see it from a bias standpoint, but the bugs apparently have started a war with the humans. They do this by a couple of ways. Anytime humans land on a specific planet and there's bugs there, they'll attack and, of course, kill everybody alive. Another thing that they'll do is they'll shoot rocks into space at Earth to try to destroy or hurt the human population. And there's a couple of things to that. First, when they're attacked, you know, the humans, they go to war, but they don't think that the bugs are intelligent. It takes an amazing amount of intelligence to throw a rock into space. What's up, buddy? To throw a rock into space and then to hit a very, very small target across the galaxy. Oh, you don't get to escape. Say hi to the people. Say, what up, people? Let's see. The bugs are a fake enemy to foster more troops joining up and focus less on the government and lack of freedom, I think. I don't think they're a fake enemy. I do think that the government is taking advantage of that. For sure. Hey, off. I do think that the government is taking advantage of it and building its resources. But is it a fake enemy? Probably not. Andrew King, a simple democracy is basically an authoritarian government. 51% can effectively exert their will over the other 49%. I mean, it's even worse than that. It doesn't even have to be a simple majority. I think it's not ACG. There's a channel that talks about how first over the finish line is a horrible way of doing democracies or votes, because you really could, in theory, have less than 15% of the vote and still enforce your will over the other 85%. And man, I wish I could remember his name. It's going to come after this. Watch. Let's see. If you guys know, let me know. Laughable Larry up in the house, give me $2. Really appreciate it. Always appreciated when super chats are given. It really helps out the channel. Let's see. First over the line voting. Let's see. CGP Gray. Yeah, the problems with first past the voting. Yeah, CGP Gray. If you haven't seen it, take a look at his stuff. I'm not a huge fan of some of his political leanings, we'll say, but yeah, I think you should take a look at that. It really, again, it shows how even 15% of the people can make 85% do what they want. It shows an insane amount of authority. At Lore Reloaded, the attack was a false flag, as was the attack on the colonists. If you watch back the video from the colonist attack, you can see barcodes on the bugs like samples. Huh. I don't remember that. That would be insane. That would add something to it, if you ask me. Red Snopus, CGP Gray has a lot of problems. He may have a lot of problems. There's some things that I disagree when it comes to that. But I will say that when it comes to first past the post in voting, makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. The bugs found out about Earth from the Skinnies, another Xeno race that switched sides late in the war. See, you, good sir, general user, you, good sir, have been watching the animated series, which, might I say, is excellent and should be watched by everybody. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Also watch The Traitor from Mars, Starship Trooper, The Traitor from Mars. That looks really good. Authoritarian sci-fi governments are a result of the media focusing on small groups. Trek tries to seem total democratic, but mandatory blood testing for Starfleet families can happen with no notice. And it's, yeah, I mean, and that's not even looking at Star Trek Discovery, the things they do in that seems somewhat authoritarian. But that's a good point when it comes to Deep Space Nine, and even some things in TNG, I think. Red Snopa, while we're on the topic, do you think teleporters are suicide booths? I do indeed think teleporters are suicide booths. That's my opinion, based on everything we see. And when you take a look at different series in TNG, it clones Riker, and even in that episode says that Riker isn't destroyed. The other copy. Tuvix creates a different person. Anytime we have a transporter accident and there's multiple people, it only shows that there are 2 copies. Now, we've already talked about this, but it only becomes an issue if you believe in a soul, in my opinion. If you create an exact copy of me, an exact 100%, as soon as it's created, there is no difference between me and my clone, and you destroy me, you've effectively lost nothing. Unless we believe that there is a soul in the body, and then you're destroying that soul. Now, some have theorized that maybe the soul is created as well. I think there's a little bit more to it than that. If you believe there's a soul, then you got to add a more religious aspect to it. Erevanganthus. In the animated series, the humans are invading Pluto and exterminating the bugs, who they believe to be native to Pluto. Then they realize the bugs were actually the invaders. Okay, I didn't know. I loved the series though. I absolutely love the intro. I'll still listen to the intro sometimes. I like how it's done through you see it through the eyes of a reporter, which I think is just pretty awesome in my opinion. And how he's recording everything and going through it, it's really excellently done. I think was it done by Fox? Whoever showed the series really screwed them up because they didn't do it in order and they left it on a cliffhanger and they really didn't do them any services. Jonathan Medina. The Senate of Star Wars makes laws that apply to all planets without direct input from those planets, besides the representatives. So here, the worst thing you could ever see in a Star Wars movie is a democracy. If it wasn't, if it was not for, well, really, no. Yeah, I mean, seriously, if you were to watch Star Wars, all democracies fail. All democracies are horrific. All democracies can be destroyed through subterfuge, through sabotage. People can't be trusted to run democracies at all. The Old Republic Senate became corrupt and was tricked into starting a war and ultimately destroyed. The New Republic Senate, the exact same thing, almost beat for beat when you look at the expanded universe. The Senate of the New Republic became corrupted as well, and ultimately their destruction was their own doing. Democracy doesn't work in Star Wars. Only authoritarian governments work in Star Wars. And even they don't work because you have the rebels who will constantly fight against it. Honestly, honest to God, Star Wars teaches us that anarchy is the best way to live. Let's see, and talking about there being a barcode and these possibly being staged, in Starship Troopers, the scene with the Mormon extremists, after the cow is eaten, there's a bug leg and it has the barcode on the blade. Let's look that up. Starship Troopers barcode leg Mormon images. And see if I can pull it up, because I don't remember that at all. It would be interesting to see who did that or how that came up. Oh, Sean Tobias becoming a lore master. Subscribe and welcome, Mr. Tobias. Welcome, good sir. But yeah, I'm not seeing specifically when it comes to that. Michael Leith, what's up with you, good sir? Pork Maxwell helping out in the house. Thank you so much. Becoming Super Chat Hero of the Lore for the moment. Transporting does kill the transported. If it ever came into real life, you could never see it taking hold, as it would not be seen as safe. Oh, I could never see it taking hold because it could not be seen as safe. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's very, very little justification, I guess. Well, not justification. There'd be very little use of it, because it would. And then you would have the religious people come out of the woodwork and saying, you're killing people, you're killing a soul, this is an abomination, it's against God. I'm with you. I don't think that you could ever see that type of technology the way it is, unless someone is really extremely good at positioning, honestly. Let's see. At Lore Reloaded, I've seen the 4 Starship Trooper films, the animated series, the comic book, and the book. I love the setting. Nathan Norman, have you seen the most recent? It just recently came out. It's called Traitor of Mars. But you should check it out if you haven't, because that one looks actually good. I wasn't interested in the second or third movie at all. And if the 4th isn't the animated one, not interested in the 4th either. If it's not the Traitor from Mars, I'm not interested in it. But the Traitor from Mars looks like insanely cool. Thomas Coulter. I suspect planets can have a democracy. The larger level, it doesn't seem to work. In Starship Troopers, the book, it may be an authoritarian government, but it works well. Yeah. Why did Leia marry Han Solo when Han Solo was more than 10 years older than Leia? I don't have a problem as long as they're both, as long as it's legal and you're not taking advantage of a person. Lori. As long as it's legal and you're not taking advantage of a person, age doesn't matter that much to me, honestly. I don't get as bent out of shape as people do. Here's something when it comes to authoritarian governments. And at least in science fiction, it makes sense. I don't know in the real world how effective it is. It seems that authoritarian governments are really effective at keeping a populace in check, and as long as they can keep the resources, keeping a populace fed. And really, it's only at the cost of your personal freedoms. Captain George, I'm beginning to feel like a bot, and that's what I pay you the big bucks for, Captain George, to be like a bot. So, are your freedoms worth? Are your freedoms worth safety? Are they worth being fed at night? Are they worth your kids being taken care of? Is the fact that you can't practice a religion, you can't advocate for certain things, is that worth what's being offered to you? And I think there can be good arguments for both sides, honestly. Let's look at the Federation. A lot of people get bent out of shape when I bring this up, but let's look at the Federation. The Federation does have a certain wrong think to it, a certain disdain for certain types of people, especially in the next generation era. So if you look at people who believe that are more militaristic, especially in the next generation, if you look at thoughts that the Federation is a bad idea, that Starfleet can do wrong, like we see in Deep Space Nine, then if you're seen as that, you are at best shunned, and at worst hunted down. But that has a cost. But the cost of that, you have basically the best medical care. Capitalism is frowned upon too. Yeah, if you look how the Federation looks at the Ferengi. But there is some positives. Effectively, you're in a no scarcity society. Anything you want. As long as you're working to improve humanity, then you can effectively do almost anything that you want. You don't have to worry about sickness, generally. You don't have to worry about sickness, poverty. You just can't be wrong think. You can't go against the company line. And even then, for a time, you'll still be accepted. You just won't be liked. Until you're the Maquis. And then apparently you'll be hunted down like a dog and not given, citizenship, even though you rightfully have it. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that? And again, it's not as prevalent in the Federation. It definitively is when it comes to Starship Troopers, but it works. And it works amazingly well, as we said. Is freedom worth what we... is freedom worth giving up the good things that the government can give you? General User, in the novel Starship Troopers, political participation is open to everybody, and there's nothing that we think of a serious restriction on civil rights. I'd have to read it, General User. I'm talking about the movie, though, and in the movie, it definitively talks about how you need to be a citizen to have kids. You need to be a citizen to be able to vote, to move, to have political power. So the movie specifically, I can't speak to the book. Paths Unwritten. We barely see anything about daily domestic Federation life. It's all starships and military life out in space. Hard to gauge a real sense of people's lives from that. I disagree. I think we get enough of a view in TNG and Deep Space Nine to make some pretty educated guesses, along with natural inferences from the technology they have. Fatman50. He was in high school when Starship Troopers was written. Okay. I may have been in high school when it came out. What's up, buddy? In Starship Troopers, you did have to serve in the Army if you had lots of money. If you didn't have money and wanted to better yourself, you had to serve for a period of time. Jonathan Medina, Paradise Under a Boot Hill. Yeah. And is it worth it, honestly? Is Paradise Under a Boot Hill worth it? Raw666, I think UFP is a time in TNG. I think the United Federation is a time in the next generation of stagnation that shows its ugly side when finally confronted with dangers that can utterly destroy. Sorry, I went past. Janie Haslam giving me a clarification. In Starship Troopers, you didn't have to serve in the Army if you had lots of money. If you didn't have a lot of money and wanted to better yourself, you had to serve for a period of time. Yeah, and that's exactly what it shows in the movies. Captain George, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety, says Benjamin Franklin, who never was presented with the Federation ideal nor what Starship Troopers could offer. Cost to give up your freedom, free electricity, and a replicator. Well, yeah, I mean, and free medical care. Michael Leith having to head out. Thanks for coming up, buddy. Always a pleasure. By the way, guys, if you haven't liked it, 71 people watching. Only 27 have liked the channel. Come on. I know you people better than that. Do it. Just, you know what? You know what? Tell them. Tell them.
Do it! Just do it!
That's right. Sorry I had to go ahead and do that, but I did. Pray I don't have to do it again. Tell you what, I do this.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
God, I love Stream Deck. Atomic Hedgehog up in his house. Sorry, civilians had the other rights. No. I mean, again, in the conversation, it didn't do it. Ashley C. says, LMAO, the sex part was the one that got me to click on this. Well, welcome, Ashley C. I am glad that would bring you in. We haven't started talking about it yet. We'll ultimately get into it, but, just relax, kids. Just relax. We're going to get into it. We got nothing but time. I intend to be here for like 7 hours. Yeah, I won't. You're right. I'm not going to be here for 7 hours. That's not happening. General user, I do not remember any part in the original novel where it says one could buy citizenship or that it was given to the wealthy. Again, we're talking about the movie, and I don't really think that necessarily even in the movie that's inferred. I think if you had money, you didn't have to worry about citizenship. I think that you really could just live your life, right? You didn't have to go through all that. Sarge Rowe, becoming a lore master, joining the channel. Thank you so much. Hey, if you want to be a super chat hero of the lore, you know what to do. You know what to do. Are you not going to watch Star Wars Han Solo tonight? I'm probably not. I don't have the time, and I got some... Drama is a way of describing it going on in my life, so I don't know that I can do that. Emperor Palpatine helping out. Just do it. Do it. Now, there is a lag, so that is going to pop up. And there it is. Yeah, and Hainer Tim, as I said, Rico's dad wasn't a citizen, thought it was a waste of time. I mean, when you have money, you don't necessarily have to care about anything else, right? You can just buy whatever you want to do. It's in the movies that make it seem like if you have money, you're a citizen for sure. I didn't get that in the movies. Maybe. Not having served, not being a citizen is counted against the person when they want a license for children, and higher education isn't free. And, I mean, again, it goes on to talk about other negatives. The entire society is built around a military aspect. You need to serve for king and country. You need to be there. Warrior126, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. You have to be there for everyone else. They talk about it. You even see in high school where they talk about how, you know, it's power to be a citizen. And interestingly enough, one thing I did like about the movie, when we're breaking that down, is that he talks about how it's good, but how it's a grave responsibility, and it's not for everyone, you know? Red Snopa, a patron of the lore, always appreciated to have someone such as yourself to be a part of it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Red Snopa, I don't think got a wrench. Yeah, it could be. I don't know what that means. It says owner when it comes to a having a circle next to you. It could be a patron thing. I'm not sure. I don't know why that's there. You don't have wrench abilities though. Ashley C. Well, it's the guy's family that was saying he didn't have to go, that he could run the family business instead of something like that. That's true, Ashley. I don't even know what a wrench... A wrench, it makes you a moderator of the channel. I mean, you've been with us for so long, I can give you a moderatorship. I don't mind that. Emperor Palpatine, watch out, sir. Steady. Prior to discovering alien life, why would a unified Earth government have a military? For dissidents, for rebels, for terrorists. There's a lot of reasons why a unified government would have and would need to maintain a government. So, Andrew King, when talking about what becoming a citizen means, they get free higher education, franchise, I'm not sure what that means, and eased restriction on childbirth. Yeah, so what do you guys think about the fact that you have to have a license to have a kid? It goes back to, I believe in China, isn't it illegal to have more than one kid? Which, that just seems odd to me. What are your guys' thoughts when it comes to that? What is the difference between a citizen and a civilian? A citizen accepts personal responsibility for the body politic, defending it with his life. Yeah, that goes back to what the teacher was saying. One thing I wonder was how they angered the Ashley C. One thing I wonder was how they angered off the aliens, or were they hostile from the get-go? The way it makes it seem in the movie, and this is further attested to in the animation series, is that the humans started it, that they started encroaching on bug territory. I think they even talk about it in the class where the bugs were minding their own business, and then they ban the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, you guys, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. So the humans encroached on the aliens' territory, and the aliens were leaving them alone till that. Who gave Red Snopa a wrench? That's what was confusing me, because I did not. So if you gave him a wrench, let me know. I'm not going to get mad, but I need to know who's giving out wrenches like that. In China, you can now have more than one child. Awesome. The movie was from the viewpoint that the war is bad Nazi uniform. The war is bad due to bad Nazi uniforms. Okay. Oh, Red Snopia is messing with me. Okay. Wow, that's confusing. You can add it to your name. Ashley C. Well, limited resources is what causes childbirth control, so it's a good idea in that respect. Other than that, famine and disease would do the same job. Yeah. The Earth naturally fixes itself when it comes to overpopulation. And that's horrible That's horrible to think about, but it does, either through war, through famine, through disease. Interestingly enough, there's actually a study talking about how the more first world countries we have, developed countries, whatever the PC term is we use for it, the better, the less kids we have. And so instead of the crazy population increase, we're actually starting to see it level off and even decline. Yeah, and it even says you're a moderator. That is so weird. Let me screenshot that so I can send that to YouTube. See if they can figure out what's going on. I think there's currently a bug in YouTube Stream Chat that displays the wrench sometimes for non-mods. Sure. Population control is a way for an authoritarian leadership to control the population. I mean, it can be. You know, especially if... So here's an idea, and here's what I really got. Here's what I really got from this, in all sincerity. What would happen is, in order to be a citizen, to have a kid... I'm standing behind this voting thing. In order to really... to really do anything within the body politic, you have to become a citizen. By the way, shout out to Bird of Prey. I'll read it in just a second. You are now Super Chat Hero of the Lore for the moment, good sir. In order for all this to do, you must become a citizen. In order to become a citizen, you need to serve in the military. In the military, you become indoctrinated for king and country. Look at Rico. Look at Rico's off-again, on-again girlfriend. I forget her name. The one who breaks up with him. Look at the people who go through it. You become indoctrinated, ultimately. And that only further helps the government. You're pro-king and country at that point. So what a wonderful way to control your populace. Hey, you know what? And maybe I'm changing my mind on this a little bit. Maybe I'm convinced, hey, you know what? For most intents and purposes, you can talk about what you want. There are some things you can't go over. You can't openly go against us, but you might be able to disagree here and there. Oh, by the way, you're going to be extremely restricted and limited in what you do, but it's really stupid easy. If you want to have children, if you want to go into public office, if you want to be a career military, I really think if you want the ability to vote, if you just want to do all this great stuff, just go into the military for 2 or 3 years. It's just that easy. And then once they do that, they indoctrinate you. It's ingenious, honestly, insidious. Bird of Prey, 5, again, helping out, $2. Everything helps. We need to do more research into ESP. Yeah, I will be honest. I don't think ESP exists. And I think research into it is a waste of resources. I don't think there's ever been any credible examples in our day and age of ESP, in my opinion. At Lore Reloaded, I think the citizenship birth license allows the authoritarian leadership to give birthing quotas to those that are always meat for the grounder, lose 100 men, increase the quota, etc. Yeah. Rico's ex is Carmen. Yeah. Carmen Ibanez. I just forgot her name. A lot of people find her attractive. I think she's okay. I think she's okay. I think she's attractive. I just don't think she's as attractive as most people say. I like Dizzy more myself. Best thing about Starship Troopers was that it inspired the Japanese to make Mobile Suit Gundam. Well, then there we go. Lore Reloaded is an old type, says Manny022. Not even sure what you're talking about, good sir. If you'd like to talk about how you've insulted me and how I am old, we can come to blows. We can take this to blows, good sir. The closest thing we have to show ESP exists is some dude had a near-death experience that said something was on the roof, and the hospital staff went up there and found it. We have a lot of anecdotal evidence, even beyond that. There are a lot of people who say a lot of things with some witnesses that say that it's true. I remain unconvinced. Emperor Palpatine helping out for $2. Thank you so much again. Thank you guys for as much as you give. It really helps out. The Force is ESP. I mean, technically, do the dance. Technically, when you look at they move it with their mind. It's the midi-chlorians in your blood. So I guess. Eric B. Smith, all of society is indoctrination. Every U.S. school pledges the flag and teaches manifest destiny. These are indoctrinations as much as any other. Yeah, but it's to the extent. I think schools are a necessary evil in that aspect. Yeah, schools are going to tell things that that may be considered indoctrinated, but they also help kids out a lot, and they have increased our society wholesale. It's honestly incumbent on the parents to teach the kids to be skeptical, to take everything that's given to them and to weigh and consider it, honestly. Director Paul Verhoeven was anti-war. All the uniforms were that of World War II Nazis. Okay, fair enough, Christy. The Force is what I call my big fat brain. Yeah, I'm actually, not today, but probably Monday, I'm going to have a little thing in the front of my video. Total Biscuit, for those who don't know, actually did pass away. I didn't agree. Late in Total Biscuit's life, he did a lot of political things, said a lot of things I really disagreed with. I more agreed with him earlier in his career. But my heart goes out to his family and to friends. He added a lot to the industry, and he was a legend as far as I'm concerned when it comes to games, being a gaming critic, being an advocate. Whether I agree with him or not, we could all hope to. I think we could all be so lucky to do what he did for society in his small corner of the world. A friend was an exchange student for a year in the U.S. He found the Daily Pledge quite disturbing. Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things I find disturbing that most people would think are good, but you know, that's just me. Oh man, Jay, the fact that almost got a chuckle at me. You're horrible. You're a bad person, Jay. I'm going to play Warhammer 40k tabletop tomorrow to honor TB. His Space Marine review got me into Warhammer 40k. Say what you want about him, but love a 40k bro. Yeah, Declan Collins, he passed away, unfortunately. Yesterday, I think he passed away. If not, it was within the last few days, but I believe it was yesterday. So, yeah, I guess maybe I missed the boat on that. What's this press F thing that we're all talking about in the chat? Maybe you guys can keep me up to date on that specifically. Lore Reloaded, the Starship Troopers movie was a satire on fascism and unchecked military spending. A lot of people say that. There's a huge... I know it's from a Call of Duty game. I don't... Did he do a big thing about that? I played that Call of Duty game. I know what the press F for respect is. I didn't know if he did a play on it. Back to Nathan Norman. The Starship Troopers movie was a satire on fascism and unchecked military spending. A lot of people say that. I don't know. But, I mean, I guess it could be. I honestly am not convinced. Sci-Fi Sith Dan, what do you think of the arachnids in the Starship Troopers? Do they represent a scientifically accurate alien? I don't know. I think they present a realistic alien, perhaps, with bugs and such as that. And it's based off of things we've seen before, so it is consistent in the universe, because if the universe was all made together through whatever means, then you would definitively see similarities. So I think it's realistic. The Call of Duty press F to pay respects is just a global meme now. Many do it without knowing its origin. Okay, well, I knew its origin. I just didn't know if he had a huge play on it or something. Carmen was her name, says Fatman50, who is 30 minutes back in the stream at this point. What's going to be funny is when he actually catches up and he hears this point, he's like, "Oh wow, I'm not live on the live stream." It's going to be funny. Watch, Fatman50 will do it. I disagree with the pledge being disturbing. All societies need some degree of cohesion, and aside from the God part, it's a pledge to the Republic and not the government. I don't have a problem with the pledge either. Of course, I grew up with the pledge. I agree with you. I don't think there's any problem or any reason a government or society can't be pro. I want to say nationalistic, but I don't think that's the right word. Shouldn't be pro for patriotism. As long as they allow those who don't want to participate in it, as long as they allow those who want to stand up against it to be able to do so in whatever way they want, well, not whatever way they want, in reasonable ways, I don't have an issue with it. I think, in fact, it's good to promote your country and promote the society in which you live in. I don't think there's a problem with that. The balls in Futurama reminded me of the bugs from Starship Troopers. Okay. At Lore Reloaded, when are you going to play Star Trek Online again? Most likely tonight, Zentrol. Oh, someone sent a message. Let's see what they said. All right. We're going to take it off for a second, and I'm going to respond live to what seems to be someone attacking me in the comments section of Star Trek Dominion War, the Cardassian Question Part 1. Here we go. I love how Lore Reloaded seems to miss the message that Star Trek was trying to convey. Might doesn't always make right. Failed on this one too. Except...
That sounds silly.
It does sound silly. That commenter is silly. Because, I'll tell you why that commenter is silly. Because in Deep Space Nine, specifically when dealing with the Cardassians and the Dominion, they had to use superior force to win the day. So, fail on you, good sir. Fail on you. Liberty is intended to be, back to the stream at hand, liberty is intended to be the core value of the United States. So I consider American patriotism to be upholding those values. Sure. And again, I don't even have any issues with any other nation doing it. North Korea, China, Russia, the UK. Having a society that is pro your country is in itself not necessarily bad. Kit Coyote agrees with me. Yes, as long as the pledge is not forced. Reminds me of the flag debates. We want to destroy the Constitution to defend the flag against disrespect. Completely agree. Completely and utterly agree. I think that people should be allowed to burn the flag simply because it proves that the flag stands for liberty. And I'm sure that's going to get taken out of context and clipped in some way. An interesting thing, West Wing. This is completely off topic, but West Wing. You had what's his name? He's a libertarian. He does magic, and he has a dude next to him that doesn't ever talk, and that's their shtick. But they had a guy on there, and he burned a flag in the White House, and that's the plot. That's the arc. Part of the arc for that episode. And it's really a big deal because you don't want to burn an American flag in a White House, of course. And so, the guys are coming at him. The main people are coming to him. They're saying, we need to know if this was a trick or did you actually burn the flag? And if you did, you need to talk about how this is horrible and you shouldn't do that. And it was Penn Jillette. You're right. And Penn looks at the main guy, the actor, or whoever he is, the person who represents the White House. He says, what if I didn't burn the flag as an attempt as an attack on the Constitution, but in celebration of the Constitution and the liberties and freedoms that it gives? And I thought that was excellent. Now Fatman50 is just messing with us. I think he's caught up. Because Press F and anti-war were not close to each other at all. I'm a traitor because I believe in flag burning. Okay. Whatever, buddy. Whatever. At the school my friend was at, the pledge was mandatory. My friend was exempted because exchange student not participating could lead to detention. I might have an issue with that, and I might challenge that. But even if it was required, I would then talk to my child about how even though she has to do it here, if she wanted to speak against it, there's nothing wrong with that. So, let's try to get it back on topic because we're really moving more into the politics. All right. So, man, I hate that I have my 8-year-old standing right next. Starship Troopers. Press 1 if you want to talk about Starship Troopers. Type 2 if you want to talk about dalliances in space, and we can move on to that. By the way, guys, if you're watching, don't forget to like. 80 people watching, only 53 likes or dislikes. I don't care if you like or dislike it. Definitely hit that like button. As always, if you want to support the channel, because this is how I ensure my daughter eats, this is how I keep the lights on, everything like that, please consider going to patreon.com/LowerReloaded, becoming a patron for as low as $1 a month. You get behind-the-scenes type things. You get additional videos that I can't use because they are YouTube cuts, and of course consider doing super chats. Depends on what you want to say. You want to say hi to the people? Come here.
Hi.
Well, come here. You got to get in frame. I'm not sure if you're in frame. Let me pull it up. All right, there we go.
Maybe if my dad lets me, I may have my own YouTube channel.
That's right. We're talking about that, though. That'll probably be, if we do it, it would be highly regimented, and I'd watch all of it. But we're talking about, what do you want to do on YouTube?
I'll probably be playing games like Roblox and stuff.
So a Let's Player. Sweet. Cool.
And Minecraft, but my favorite is Pat and Jen. Make sure to subscribe.
Pat and Jen. Yeah, I hear a lot about Pat and Jen. The Minecraft YouTubers. I'm glad I could give them a shout out on my science fiction related.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Just for dalliances. Dalliances, how do you say it? You say it dalliances, right? Dalliances? Just exterminatus the chat. Resistance is futile. Cool, I'd sign. Lore on Transformers. Yeah, when it comes to her doing YouTube, I don't necessarily, not a huge fan at her age right now. I'd like her to be in her teens. And if I did it, you know, comments, I would control everything, and the comments would be approval only. Again, I'm not convinced that we're going to do that at all, honestly. Are we going to burn down something, guys? Yes, of course we're going to burn down something. Why wouldn't we be burning down something? Laura, she's not yours. You can't make a cute kid. I mean, that is definitely possible. UK London Comic Con is on the weekend, and Eagle Moss is there. They are using the Hero Collector name there. Also, ran into someone who watched your channel there. Sweet. Yeah, they actually, they asked me, they're going to have my name on their Welcome to Eagle Moss stuff. I hope they come to the U.S. I'd love to meet them. But anyway, so let me ask you something. Y'all are going to consider me a prude. My daughter just went by. T. Thanks for coming. Sex and sci-fi. How important is it? Of course you walk back up here. Of course, why wouldn't you just walk back up here? How important is it? I honestly am of the opinion that it is a distraction, and it doesn't necessarily need it to be in science fiction. In fact, when you look at Emperor Palpatine, thanks so much. I'll read it in just a second. When you look at the way it's done, it's to make it a B movie. It's to make it to have eye candy there. It's from a time when it was maybe needed because you didn't have a lot of sci-fi, but it gave science fiction such a bad name, and to continue it annoys me. Emperor Palpatine, anti-tracker made a downvote bot just for you. No, he actually is probably making multiple accounts. And to Captain George's point, I would agree with that to a degree. I think that it can be used to increase or to impact a story. But is that it's used too much, I think. Kit Coyote, wow, McKing. Yeah, you're actually the owner of the channel, according to YouTube. Apparently they're having glitches. Dalliances in sci-fi is okay if you use it to create a character and if you don't go into the fine details. I hate to say this, but Star Wars Episode 2 did it right. Huh. I'd have to think about that. I guess so. Especially in the books. Now, the books don't necessarily count, but in the Episode 2, in the books, they really talk about the connection there. And the confliction of Padme. So I don't necessarily agree with that. Hey, Laura. Hey, chat. Says D. Newton. To throw in my 2 cents, I think implied dalliances in sci-fi is alright, but when it starts getting graphic, as it has been, that's a bit too much. Yeah, Discovery was horrible about it. That's one of the things I hate about Discovery. Lorelai, I just doxed it. My child would...
I'm listening.
I'm talking about you, not to you. I would love for her to watch Star Trek, but there's no way she is going to, at any point, be watching Discovery. It's just not happening.
Oh, I might.
Oh, you won't, not till you're older.
Well, I was about to say
When you're older?
Like when I'm
The advantage to the holodeck, self-cleaning, that's just disgusting. Let's not turn every show into Game of Thrones. That's true. Dalliances in space. Barbarella was good before Jane Fonda became evil. Okay. Lore Reloaded. Dalliances is sci-fi should only be used to move a plot, or more importantly, character development. Just leave political leanings aside and treat it as a normal everyday occurrence. Yeah, I mean, of that I would agree. But you can tell good stories. I honestly think that you could have any story on anything and tell a pretty good story. And especially the intricacies of it. But that should be what it should move plot, or it should impact characters, not just be there, right? Cafe Noir, you have a sarcastic daughter. She is my daughter.
I'm not sarcastic.
Okay. The strange feeling, Lore Reloaded losing an argument with his daughter, just imagining it is hilarious. I lose more than I win, unfortunately. Remember when Dalliances in Enterprise was done solely to get views and it flopped? Then Game of Thrones did it solely to get views. Yeah, a lot of changes in a half decade. Well, it's not just that. I think Star Trek isn't known for that. That's why Discovery is eye-rollingly bad, but Expanse not so much. That's why Orville is considered what Discovery should be. Because Discovery, Star Trek, is not supposed to be, or is not, what these people say. Now, I don't believe in No True Scotsman, so I'll say that starting out. But people who have watched Star Trek don't look for what you guys are seeing here. And that's just true. Laughable Larry helping out the channel again. Wanted to see a Klingon served a purpose. I don't think that helped at all, especially when you now consider certain appendages of Klingons, and now you got to think of how that interacts with Dax, Jadzia Dax and Worf. Oh. Discovery did have a lot of lewd. It had a horrific amount. Jula Pabine, I think it can also be used to explain how a small group of people can live alongside each other for months without going at each other's throats, especially in hard sci-fi. I mean, yeah, you can, but that's a part of telling the story. Especially like when you look at Expanse or things like that, it is how you go about explaining that, you know, we have these urges, but how do we impact them? How does it work through? How does it go through, you know? So Larry is definitively Larry's a good person. I like Larry. Orville is so much better than Discovery. Orville is well written, and it seems to serve a point for character development. There's a couple of things about things that Orville does, especially with interactions and things like that, I don't necessarily agree with. But Orville overall does it good. I mean, see ya, 14K Leon. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Orville is really just a remake of Star Trek The Next Generation. I mean, if they had said, hey, we're going to make The Next Generation rebooted, then you'd have Orville. That's exactly what it is. I don't see the staying power for Orville when it comes to the ability to like have what Star Trek has. But then again, if you look at the original series, it was just as campy as Orville. So it's possible that it could turn into a competitor for Star Trek. And that'd be very interesting, especially if they sincerely and seriously fleshed out these ideas, I think. Orville needs to tone down the humor a bit, but it has potential to be the next TNG. The humor hasn't gotten too bad for me, but I haven't watched all of it to this point. Oh, look, another comment that popped up. Would you guys like to... shall we read it? Oh, wow. People always comment on my older ones, as if I still had that. I need to redo some of these videos, too. Let me ask this while I'm on the mind, and then we'll go back to it. When it comes to revamping, so like this video right here was made in November 1, 2017. And I have some intros that I don't think is necessary or appropriate for it. Should I redo it? Dustin Peterson helping out with $1, guys. Every little bit helps. Every time you guys give, it really helps ensure the channel continues to thrive. So thank you absolutely so much.
And keeps our house running.
Keeps our house running, exactly.
And Mom helps out.
Okay, keep playing.
Okay. You just went right back to that.
I do consider the Orville a direct competitor to Discovery, and honestly does a better job. Honestly, I don't think the Orville is a direct competitor to Discovery. It's apples and oranges. If Discovery was Star Trek, how we saw Star Trek with The Next Generation, with Deep Space Nine, it would be a direct competitor. I don't consider it a direct competitor. They are so definitively different. Red Snopa. I'm not going to ask that. When you talk to your daughter, do you tell her in your Darth Vader voice, I am your father? I do not, in fact. As bad as Discovery is, it's better than Disney Wars. Going to have to disagree with you there, JHLG. Anti-Tracker, don't you need to go and start your own live stream and then continue to mention me and make animations against me so you can make money? I mean, isn't this... I would think you'd be so busy doing that you wouldn't even have time to comment on my channel, buddy. So, Dustin Peterson, I love how Galaxy Quest handles dalliances. Funny, and yet it drove a plotline. That is true. Peace out, Laura. Love your channel. Peace out, Cafe Noir. I love you, buddy.
And
I love you.
That you actually got to see me in a video.
Yeah, and everybody's glad they got to see my daughter in a video. Yay, YouTube, everyone's a mod. Man, as long as they don't actually have mod powers.
You are a mod. Dad's a mod. Subscribe for Dad.
Alright, by the way, Anti-Trekker, I think he'll be doing one of his live streams very shortly. Definitely a live stream at night. So,
Do
oh,
not live stream at night.
no live stream at night
No, you'll get sleepy.
at all.
Yes, you'll get very sleepy.
Okay. I do get tired at night. That is true.
And I heard it on the internet. If you don't get enough sleep, you will go dead.
So,
Dead.
let me ask you this, Anti-Tracker, since you're on here with us. How do you feel about dalliances, is what we're calling it right now, in your science fiction? How do you feel about the fact that it seems to just be shoehorned in? Laughable Larry in the house. Here's $2. I don't have to give Anti-Track. Thank you so much. I need it more than Anti-Tracker now. Don't let him lie to you. Don't let him lie.
No liars in this crib.
No liars in this crypt. That's right. I still have a couple of hours of work to do on my Spaceballs video. Then I'll do a live stream. Yeah, is that... Anti-Tracker is actually doing a Spaceballs versus... isn't it Spaceballs versus Star Trek? Or Spaceballs versus The Last Jedi? And he has an interesting take on it, so you guys should subscribe and take a look. His take, I don't want to ruin it too much, but he thinks that the CEO of Disney actually watched Spaceballs, and that's how she does The Lore Reloaded, or The Lore. That's how she does Star Wars. Also in TNG, oh, you're not talking to me. Does Black & Decker still replace your wrench if you break it? I do believe they do. Little known thing about that. I do believe they do. Anti-Tracker Spaceballs versus Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars. Yeah. I didn't ruin it just a bit. He's going to start it all with that. Captain George commenting on one of my videos so that I'll respond to it. I don't get all the alerts. I only respond to the comments of the alerts I do. But on Ahsoka versus Darth Vader, you reading comments live, I see. Also, don't judge power of the May the 4th. May the 4th is so silly. I mean, if people want to do May the 4th, it's fine. I do think a lot of YouTubers just do it because they feel they have to or they're pandering. Not all of them. And not ones I interact with, but I do think quite a few do it. Atomic Hedgehog, Anti-Tracker bringing in the spite bugs. That's right, Anti-Tracker is always attacking me. Anti-Tracker has made so much money. Hundreds of dollars, not even joking when I say this, not overrating it. Hundreds of dollars using my logo, my image, and my my audio.
That's not fair.
It is not fair. You're absolutely right. Even my daughter, an 8-year-old, can see that's not fair. And makes all this money. I don't get a dime of it.
2 thumbs down for him.
Exactly. All right, go play, baby.
But this is a special one. They're actually get to see me.
Yeah.
Where is my...
Dustin Peterson, a lot of cases of dalliances is handled poorly in Hollywood. Yeah, that's true. I think almost all. Unless romantic comedies. Romantic comedies, even then they do it bad. But most romantic comedies do it all right. By the way, thank you so much again, Dustin Peterson. Boba Fett, a Star Wars movie, a Star Wars story was just announced. What do you think about that, Anti-Tracker? Out of curiosity. I'd be curious. Oh, by the way, I need to be playing some of these for you. Let me see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Ready? Here we go.
I don't know
By the
what
way,
this
if you guys
is, but it's kind of hot.
If you guys request it and you donate, I'll be happy to do an animation. Jamie Haslam, thank you so much. Jamie Haslam now becoming the current Super Chat hero of the lore, but will he be able to hold it, is the question. Dalliances can work in sci-fi like it did in The Species, but usually it's just titillation versus purpose-driven. I honestly think... I honestly think that it went too far on it. Anti-Tracker Boba Fett will... No, baby. Boba Fett will turn out to be transgender. That's horrible. It's possible. By the way, I'm giving Anti-Trekker a hard time. I honestly don't care. He's welcome to use any of my stuff. Even if it wasn't fair use, he's welcome to use my stuff. He's like a brother to me. And we give each other a lot of hard times. I like the guy. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Sephro, for a character that dies in such a simplistic way, why make a movie about Fett? I never saw the appeal to Boba Fett. I honestly didn't. I don't know why people I don't see why people like him so much. There's no interest to me. Honestly, in my humbled opinion. Whoa, what the heck? No. Bad, baby. You need to ask Anti-Trekker to use his cartoon shorts. I'm not. It's his son that does his cartoon shorts. Right now, due to some reasons I can't talk about, I'm uncomfortable buying or paying for anything. In a couple of months, I actually intend to have some custom shorts made. And I intend to hire his son to do it. His son has done a couple of stuff for me. His son is just excellent when it comes to making this stuff. Anti-Trekker, it seems that The Lore Reloaded is your YouTube channel's rival channel. You two argue like siblings. Yeah, we do. We argue a lot. Emperor Palpatine, even I wouldn't go that low. Shame on Anti-Trekker. Oh, shame on you, good sir. Boba has a huge mystery behind him. That's why people like him. I don't see any mystery. Anti-Trekker. Obviously, Anti-Trekker is not listening to the chat, not listening to the video. I said that it was your son who does excellent. I intend to pay him in a couple months. I'm also giving Anti-Trekker a hard time, as I stated before. He's a good guy, and I don't mind at all. And in fact, if him using my stuff makes his channel grow or helps him out monetarily, I don't mind at all. I think my daughter is passing behind me simply so that she can get in frame. Can't prove it.
I hear you.
I don't have problems. Let's see.
I can still hear you, Dad.
Okay, well, good. Spoiler, Boba Fett is a clone. Why you gotta be throwing out spoilers now? I mean, seriously? Seriously? Disappointed, good sir. Disappointed. The mystery was gone after Attack of the Clones, though. I don't think there was a mystery at all. It's like, okay, we're going to hire this bounty hunter. He's in a suit. Go get him. Whoa. Whoa.
Dad, quiet.
Hey, be nice.
I'm trying to be cute.
You're trying to be cute.
Yeah, it's viewers.
Is the Boba Fett movie a way to bring in the old EU canon back to canon? Is the Boba Fett movie a way to bring in the old EU canon back to canon? They will probably twist it. I don't think it is. I don't think at all. Thank you so much, Park Maxwell. It always helps out the channel. Very, very appreciated that you helped out. My daughter is old enough to join the Empire. Probably.
I'm 8.
She is 8. Alright, guys, so we'll probably be ending it very shortly. What do you guys have anything else? What else shall we discuss?
Nothing.
Nothing. Do you think Lando will be explicitly called that in the movie, or is it just dropped as to pander to some people? I haven't seen it. Anti-Trekker has, and it can actually speak to it. He told me about it a little bit. I don't know if they say the word, but they definitely describe him in that way, Lando, which... The issue I kind of have with that is it feels like they're putting it on a character that never really showed that predilection. I mean, I could be wrong. But I think that it was just there to try to throw a bone. And I have issues when they do that. I think you can make strong characters and have them do anything you want. And have them be anyway, but forcing it on a specific character just to get some brownie points. Not only is what's the word I'm looking for? Not only is demeaning to the character, but demeaning to those you want to prop up. Red Snopa still getting random wrenches up in his house. Alright guys, anything else you want to talk about? Anything else we want to go? Is Anti-Tracker a feminist? He is. He's actually pretty hardcore. When you think Anti-Tracker, think Anita Sarkeesian or the redheaded chick. I forget her name. But yeah. Sci-Fi Sith Dan. All the new Star Wars movies are going social justice warrior, feminist, and political crap. The era of good Star Wars ended with Disney. Bought Star Wars and making Kathleen Kennedy the CEO of Lucasfilm. Possibly. Apparently both Robert Harold and Bailey Gregory own my channel. Nothing childish about the Gambino. When will your daughter have her own channel? I don't know. Probably a ways off.
Will.
I didn't say you wouldn't. I said I didn't know.
I will.
Oh, okay.
That is something I have my goal for.
Andrew King. See, that's an interesting conversation. Lando was total blaxploitation, suave, debonair, and flirty with everything. I never really looked at it that way. Anti-Tracker probably could speak more to it than me. But I never really spoke to it that way. And yeah, see, Anti-Tracker, the redheaded chick, wait to show your tolerance. He even proving that he loves those people. Her name is Big Red. Her actual name is irrelevant. She is a meme now. Yeah, so, I mean, Anti-Tracker loves Big Red and Anita Sarkeesian. I think he was mean tweeting about Total Biscuit, in fact, if you go back and you take a look. I think that's definitively provable, honestly. Funny how Starfleet has explored so much of the galaxy, but I can only remember one time when they found a species with 3 genders. Yeah, you know, everything else aside, Emperor Palpatine, thanks for the amazing content. Hey, thank you. And thank you for being a Super Chat hero of the lore. Everything else aside, it is intriguing that they don't find more delineation. Though they do kind of explain it with the aliens that seeded the galaxy, so I mean, maybe. American Cult. So, let me say this, because it looks like some people are taking it serious. Anti-Tracker actually is not. He more aligns with me, I think. He's not a huge fan of Anita Sarkeesian. I doubt he even knows who Big Red is. He's a good guy. Anti-Tracker, he actually talks more about politics and everything, and if you like politics from a libertarian, right-leaning side standpoint, you might consider taking a look, especially when he talks about the politics in The Last Jedi and things like that. I cannot wait for him to live stream STO. Who? The Anti-Tracker? I'm going to be live streaming STO tonight, baby. Twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded. I will, and you need to follow me there.
Not follow anybody. Follow me.
Luke is not a... Are we talking about Mary Sue? Because I don't think Luke is a Mary Sue. I'm pretty sure Anti-Tracker is not in a political way. What are you? Are you like a person or a pink person? It's fine.
What?
You're playing a pink person.
How am I playing a pink person?
You're playing a person and they're pink. All right. So what were we talking about?
I don't even. My character is not.
So, anything else that we haven't explored on Starship Troopers or Dalliances in Space, or did we want to end it there? As I told Anti-Tracker the other day, I can't wait for the Discovery discussions you two have, Lore. Well, I actually have an entire series where we talk about Discovery immediately after every episode. You're talking about in Season 2, I'm looking forward to it, too. At what time you going to stream? At what time you going to stream STO exactly? Probably 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Around there. Could be 30 minutes before or after. What faction will you be playing tonight? Admiral Saval really wants me to play Klingons. I need to play... I know I keep telling you I'm going to do it, Saval. I'm sorry. But I need to play Federation because we didn't do our fleet operations tonight. Red Snopa, your daughter is more entertaining than you. No offense. Most people are more entertaining than me, in my opinion. So, I mean, I don't necessarily blame you. By the way, if you watch me tonight on Twitch... you should definitely come, twitch.tv/lorereloaded. If you see everybody who's running around below me right now, the avatars, that is due to, they're on my Twitch channel right now. You actually get your own avatars. The longer you stay, the more virtual money you get. You can buy avatars, you can make Star Trek avatars, you can have a little blob thingy that looks like Sherlock Holmes. It's a lot of fun. When is Star Trek Discovery Season 2 launching? Not till like 2020 or 2021.
I said wrong.
January 2019. I thought it was 2020. Everyone is more entertaining than me, says Captain George. It's funny because it's true. Actually, no, that's not true. That's me joking. Captain George has some actually very well done videos. Y'all should check them out if you haven't. Sorry about that, guys. Who'd win in a fight? A Starship Troopers cannon fodder or an Oberth? The Starship Troopers. Is Lando attracted to... I don't know. Would you ever consider streaming Star Trek Online earlier for Europe? Yes, I would and will at some point. Summer's going to make it a little interesting because, as you can see now, I have my daughter here. But I do intend to have earlier streams with Star Trek Online. Probably going to be from Twitch. I don't want to play games on this too much. By the way, with everyone watching, though, if you're a huge Star Trek Online fan or you're looking forward to Victory is Life, the 5th of next month, so that would be... June 5th, which should be a Wednesday. No, June 6th. I'm sorry. Which is a Wednesday. I'll be having one of the developers from Cryptic Studios coming on to talk about Victory is Life, talk about everything when it comes to the story arc and such. So I'm really looking forward to that. So stay tuned for that for sure. All right, guys. I think we are probably going to end it there.
Yeah, because it's been like 1 hour.
It has in fact been 1 hour 30 minutes, madame.
I was close.
Captain George, I DM'd you on Twitter. Feel free to look at it. Yeah, we're gonna do. I said it in the tweet, man. When it comes to doing collaborations and stuff, it takes me forever, and it's going to. But I would be interested in doing a collaboration with Captain George. But I do think that we are going to end it there, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. I do want to say, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, I'm going to see you guys on the very, very next Lore Reloaded. Unless you're on Twitter, unless you're on Twitch tonight, then I'll see you there. But if not, I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.